Happy Saturday, everybody. Thank you, Grandpa Brian, for coming. So I'm just putting things together and getting. Unfortunately, Courtney has had a little bit of issue. Her ceiling has collapsed into her living room, so she will not be on tonight. So it is my responsibility for taking the reins and doing what I need to do to have a good show. And my idea was simply talking about affirmations versus prayers. Yeah, thank you, Griffith Brian. Yeah, it's an interesting situation, that's for sure. Um, I guess when they built her house, they attached the drywall to the ceiling with nails and not screws. So the drywall came undone, and now she's got insulation in her living room. Just the whole thing came down. Um, it's interesting. I don't know how that happens, but these things happen, and so show must go on. So I figured I would talk about affirmations and prayers and how they overlap and intersect and that kind of thing. But more importantly, I'm here relaxing and just gonna put on a nice quiet show. Oop, and hope for the best. Actually, I don't even need headphones, do I? I just need to speak. But whatever, it is all. It's just a Saturday, anyways. A summer Saturday, nice warm day. Oh, hello, Lori Elderkin. Unfortunately, Courtney has an issue where the ceiling has fallen into her living room, so she will not be on tonight. So it is up to me to hold the grounds, and I can talk. I can vamp for a little while, and just compare prayers and affirmations. And one of my ideas is that prayers is you kind of surrender yourself. You ask assistance for someone outside yourself. That will be a prayer. And an affirmation would be something you state as empirically true from your own power. It's that my idea of the balance. But then I realized what I call affirmations from that definition will become prayers. Yes, holy crap, it's truly interesting. It is absolutely, when things fall apart, they fall apart really good for Courtney. It's wow. It's a mess, unfortunately. Yeah. So it is interesting. Life is an interesting adventure, and we just gotta roll with the punches, I guess. Ooh, and I got my Generation X shirt. Was it 66 to 80? I've heard middle of 60s to the middle of the 80s, but it is what it is. Yeah, shit happens, definitely. Yeah. And all I can do is pray that the right solution, the easy solution comes to her life, because I find that kind of thing really helps things move along. Um, Case in point, I have a magic altar that helps me achieve things. And one of basically, I had a problem. My refrigerator was leaking water from the refrigerator into my basement, and because it was just following the hose, and so I don't know. So I changed the filter out, and I just prayed that the water would stop. So I changed the filter. The water stopped for 1 week. So it stopped. I got my prayer, but then I realized, okay, I'm going to change my prayer to, please help me find the easiest solution to resolve the leaking refrigerator into my basement so I can stop it myself and find the most easy solution. So I moved my refrigerator out and discovered that it has, the lines go into lines, and it was a quick connect that was just loose. It was a plastic fitting that just needed to be tightened. And so, I had everything pulled on anyway. So I tightened it, said, I think I fixed it myself. But then I left it there for like 4 hours to make sure that there was no more leak. And that's when I say, having a prayer or an affirmation that this is gone, it's not as effective as, please help me find the easiest, quickest solution to my issue, my problem, because that empowers me to fix it myself. But through an easier solution. And that's what I pray for Courtney, that because unfortunately, she's into a big, big issue right now, because literally the drywall from the ceiling just fell. And with that was, everything, the attic, everything, the drywall, I mean, the insulation, that puffy, powdery stuff, it's a mess. Hello, Mila De La Prida. Mili De La Prida. Just talking about, things happening, things falling apart, and Courtney not being able to be here because her house drywall fell into her living room. And life is an adventure. And what seems like the worst thing might turn out to be a beneficial thing. I mean, maybe this drywall thing will discover issues that need to be fixed before they become a bigger issue. Who knows? But, sometimes when bad things happen, they come for a reason to help you actually be better off afterwards. I mean, I have had coworkers that were laid off, we'll quote laid off, but it's silly. And recently my company let some people go who were very good people, but they were more expensive than the temps. And the funny thing is, those people who were let go from the company have better jobs now. They're getting paid better, and they're more respected, and they're happier now. So sometimes when the worst thing happens to you, it'll come together. Yeah, well, yeah. I think insurance will cover it, but she's got to know how to file it and that kind of thing, because insurance, they make things difficult. I know that for a fact. When I had to do an insurance claim, they had to jump through hoops, and then you had to get a second estimate because they didn't like the first estimate, and then you had to work with someone. They couldn't tell you who to go to, but they could have recommended places that have guaranteed parts and stuff like that. Yeah, insurance companies, they do know how to play games. Medical insurance is the worst. Oh God, all the money I spent on medical for just little things where my doctor recommended these blood tests for me, and then the insurance company only covers half of them. And, so doctor doesn't care. Doctor just, puts in, once the blood tests are done, you're kind of stuck with, got to pay it. You got your deductible, and then, they'll pay for so much of it. And insurance is a game. So I'm praying that Courtney finds the easy solution for her insurance company so to get this settled easily so she can get this fixed. Yeah, it's terrible. It is terrible. Yeah, it's maybe, if Courtney plays her cards right. Unfortunately, when my mother had her issue with her house, she was told, don't clean anything up, just leave it as is, and then let the insurance company come in and take their pictures and everything, and then clean it up. Because my mother had a wood fire stove, which was, everything was done to code, everything was done right, but wood stoves, sometimes they can be unpredictable, and that's what happened. It actually it basically the flue stopped up, and it caused fire to come back, and it ended up burning part of the house. It was just and basically it was a very minor section. They got it fire stopped in time, but again, the insurance company was just horrible. They were just horrible. They were nitpicking everything. The carpet's fine. I'm like, no, the carpet's not fine, because when the fire department came in, even though it was under control, they still had to spray just in case there were embers, and that wet the floor. So they had to. Insurance company only paid part of the carpeting, which was actually in the section. Insurance companies are just evil, honestly. Hello, Grace Hasperity. Thank you all for coming. I'm just rambling right now, just talking about, yeah, poor Courtney and her ceiling collapse into her house. And in the description of this thing is Courtney's, I think, buy me a coffee and her channel and stuff like that. So, if you have something, if you want to contribute something to her. I think her PayPal's in there, but again, you can find her channel, and hopefully things will get worked out. It'll be fine. But again, just be patient, calm, and see how things fall together. And hopefully Courtney gets what she needs and everything gets resolved in a quick, efficient way possible. But then, okay, affirmations. I just had AI create a thumbnail, and it turns out to making two Jesuses. One Jesus is praying and one Jesus is writing in a scroll. Now, my idea is that, you pray to someone else. While an affirmation, you're making demands from your own power, your strengths. I have so many. Well, here's one: an affirmation to call back your power. I call back my power that does not belong to me and send it back to source. Now, I send back all the energy that does not belong to me back to source. I send back any energy that does not belong to me and make sure it aligns with source. Anything does not align with source, I send it back to the person it belongs to. With love to all and harm to none, I call back my power from every person, every place, everything in this lifetime, in this universe, in this galaxy, in this dimension. I call back my power clean, recalibrated, and only belonging to me. So motive B, I am loved, I am protected, I am in complete alignment. So this affirmation is about me calling back my power. I'm empowering myself to call back what I belong to. And what does not belong to me, I just send it back to source or to the person it belongs to. There's a balance there. I probably send it back to the person it belongs to first, and then calling back to source whatever doesn't go to that person. But it's an imprecise science. Here's another affirmation. I forgive others who pour their pain out onto me. I forgive myself for holding on to that pain for too long. I release myself of any energy that no longer serves me. I only drink from the cup of monetary abundance, prosperity, grace, favor, moving forward. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, this is all about me empowering myself. These affirmations are about me being in power with who I am. And then I realized the favor affirmation is kind of like a prayer. So as I break it down, all these favors will work with me as I give voice to them. So I'm giving voice, that's the affirmation. But favor is with me in everything I undertake, which means favor is the vessel. Favor is the person helping me, or the entity. Favor entity helping me. Favor is with me everywhere I go. Favor loves everything I set my hand upon to prosper in the most positive, happy, healthy, beneficial way for me. So that's actually working with favor. So it's kind of like a prayer and an affirmation kind of overlap. Yeah, I'm hoping Courtney will get through this. It was just a surprise when her ceiling fell down into her living room. And I guess all of her dog's toys was under that pile, unfortunately. It's unfortunate. Favors with me in the city, favors with me in the country, favors with me in the dark, favors with me in the light, favors with me as I hike, favors with me as I drive, favors with me as I bike, favors with me at home, favors with me at work, favors with me as I come in, favors with me as I go out. Now here's the prayer part. Favor heals my body as I speak favor into my body. Favor is healing my eyes to see clearly. Favor is healing my ears to hear clearly. Favor is healing my mind to think clearly. Favor is healing my body into ideal perfection. So I'm asking favor to come into me. So that makes it the prayer. Favor helps me to hear, think, and speak with compassion again. Favor is protecting my children, my pets. Favor protects my family, my friends. Favor watches over everyone who are close to my heart. Favor keeps me in total safety. Favor fills my home. Favor envelops everyone who is close to my heart into total safety. Favor grants my ground abundance of unending joy. Favor fills my pantry with abundance of food. Favor fills my pantry with abundance of liquid nourishment. Favor fills my life with peaceful prosperity. Favor compels all my enemies to seek peace with me. But more importantly, favor helps me be at peace with everyone else. That's what I've been adding, because even though favor compels my enemies to be at peace with me, it is also my responsibility to be at peace and compel myself to be at peace with my enemies or my adversaries or other people in my life. I don't like using the word enemy, because who needs an enemy? You know, you can have people you compete with, and those are kind of like adversaries. So I don't want enemies. I want adversaries, because adversaries help you compel and increase yourself, improve yourself. So adversaries help you improve yourself. Favor compels everyone who I interact with to maintain peace with me. That's great. Favor encloses my bonds. Favor fills my storehouses. Favor provides safety to all my possessions. Favor ensures all my material property lasts longer and works as new, unless or until a new or higher value replacement comes into my possession. Favor protects all my possessions. Favor protects all my property. Favor protects my home. Favor keeps all my possessions in total safety. Favor keeps all my property in total safety. Favor protects me. Favor protects my offspring. Favor protects everyone who are close to my heart. Favor keeps me in total safety. Favor fills my home and keeps my home totally safe. Favor keeps all my offspring in total safety. Favor leads me to discover good fortune in all things. Favor caused me to come in on top. Favor caused me always to be above. Favor gives me favor with the elements. Favor generates a favorable atmosphere between me and everyone with whom I interact. Favor initiates peace between me and all physical beings. Favor initiates peace between me and all spiritual beings. I am favored in the spiritual realm. Favor supports those who help me accomplish my goals, and favor assists those who help me in moving towards completion of any of my projects. Everyone in all dimensions see me with great favor. Favor helps me to turn every obstacle into a great opportunity. Favor allows me to use my true potential to turn every opportunity into a great opportunity. Favor ensures I know how to optimally use all my tools to turn my life into peace and prosperity. This is all been stated in my own words to go out in the world, produce benefit for me and everyone close to my heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, Chloe. Thank you for coming. Whew, it's just interesting. I'm going to roll with the punches. This is definitely an affirmation. This is true. What I actually say a lot, because I'm a stressful individual. I like to be stressed for some reason. And I say to myself, for the next 24 hours, I'm totally calm. I'm totally relaxed. Everything is always working out perfectly for me. All my needs are met before I'm aware I have a need. All my wants have a clear, defined path to achieve them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's telling me that I'm finding the right path and I am achieving it. I'm calm and I'm manifesting calmness in my own life. Another one is I'm in complete alignment with my highest self, which is I'm demanding to be in alignment with my highest self and listen to my highest self. I am in complete alignment with my highest purpose. I am in complete alignment with my highest potential. I have the perfect connection with Source, Father Sky. I am a conduit of pure Source energy. I am a conduit of pure Father Sky energy. I am Source energy incarnate. I am Father Sky incarnate. I have the ideal connection with the grounding energy of Mother Earth, Gaia. I am a conduit of the grounding energy of Mother Earth, Gaia. I am the energy of Mother Earth incarnate. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And with this, I am telling that I am connecting with Source. I'm connecting with the grounding energy of Mother Earth, because Source, Father Sky, is our energy, is our highest self. Well, the grounding energy of Mother Earth grounds us into the physical world. So we're the combination of two, and I'm demanding that I stay, and I am the perfect connection because I bring Source energy to Mother Earth, and I bring Mother Earth grounding energy to Source energy, and we balance the two out. Oh yeah, deep cleaning. That's important. I was doing that today. I was also planting flowers and making a mess. So I make deep cleaning and I planting plants. But it'll make things beautiful. Yeah. Yeah, they work on your website, Chloe. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful crystals for everyone to see and buy. Wonderful. Do, 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 do. I live a life of prosperity. I have a live a life of abundance. Be good to define your abundance. I live a life of financial abundance, spiritual abundance, prosperity, financial abundance. Favor all my close friends, and I always appreciate sharing my life with them. So this is kind of like a prayer, but you're also saying that I'm working with these individuals, and I am in alignment with prosperity and financial abundance and beautiful energies. My bank accounts are filled with excessive American money. I live a life of monetary abundance. I live a life of financial prosperity. See, that's it, you know. All my household debt has been eliminated. I am financially free. And I guess Courtney needs that, you know, to basically say how she's be ready to be financially free and have her debt eliminated, you know, that's kind of thing. And things happen. Life is magical. Things come into your life when you're ready for it. I have only compassionate relationships with everyone. I have a dear relationship with my significant other. I'm totally happy and compassionate with all my home life. My family all happy, compassionate, relaxed, and calm. I have the perfect compassionate relationship with my children. These are wonderful things to have, you know, that to state that I am compassionate in my relationships, my loving family are compassionate, and we have a good, positive relationship, because sometimes family can be stressful. But it's most important that if the people who you can trust, the family members that you can trust and be in alignment with, that you announce that you're compassionate and you're at peace and you're calm and that everything's working out good. You know, all these perfectly wonderful affirmations, just send them out into the world. And I mean, there's so many affirmations, and you kind of got to find the ones that work with you, the ones that, you know, work for you. And then you might have to modify and change them out, because sometimes the affirmation that works for you today might not be appropriate for tomorrow. And that's okay. That's good. But the most important thing is that when you don't feel in alignment with an affirmation, but not totally, you change things up. You can change things up and be at peace, be at happy, you know, whatever needs to be done. And of course, in our lives, we are always given information from others, and they try to influence us, and they try to manipulate us, and they try to control us. And one of them is what I call slavery programming. That's from watching the news or listening to the radio and just news, horrible news. So in order to release myself of that, because I try not to pay attention to the news, but unfortunately, with people around you, they tend to want to share it. How often do you? I say affirmations all the time, and literally, if I'm hiking, I usually pick a couple. My favorite when I'm hiking is just to simply say, there's two of them. One of them is like, I live in a friendly, supportive, compassionate, joyful universe that loves me and wants me to be happy, healthy, and to succeed. Thank you, universe. And that way, basically, it's just the universe itself. Another one is, God, please grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. God, please grant me the courage to change things I can. God, please grant me the wisdom to tell the differences of the things I can change from the things I cannot change. God, let your thoughts be mine. God, let your words be mine. God, let your actions be mine. I'm here. I'm open. I'm ready. Please guide me, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. And of course, with that, you can say, which God? Well, my God. That's it. You know, it doesn't matter the Christian God or the Jewish God or the Muslim God or which is supposed to be the same, but not quite. A Hindu God, you know, Buddhist God. It doesn't matter, because it's all the same spiritual energy. And so which God is it? It's my God. Who am I praying to? I'm praying to my God. And he might have different masks, or it might be the same God. It doesn't really matter which God it is. It's just the one that I talk to, the one that I'm good with, and the one that works with me. And that the serenity prayer is a prayer. It's not an affirmation, that's a prayer. And I guess the universal prayer, I guess that's kind of a prayer too, but affirmations are like, I am in charge. And I guess it is, because I'm living in a, I'm basically saying that I'm living in a compassionate universe, and because the universe is loving and compassionate. So I guess it's kind of an affirmation. There's an overlap here. There's definitely an overlap here. But more importantly, life. When people come into your life and they tell you things and they influence you, that's programming. So I nullify all of my slavery programming. I void all of my slavery programming. I delete all of my slavery programming. I erase all of my slavery programming. Yeah, and that's it. I release it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please clear my mind so that I am truly peaceful, compassionate, and happy and healthy in my life. I choose to stand in my power as a full sovereign being who can use my freedom. I choose to stand in my power as a full sovereign being who knows that I am completely free. My mind is free. My spirit is free. My heart is free. My soul is free. My body is free. I control all my life experiences. I am the master of my life. I control all of my timelines. I control my life. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done, it is done, it is done. Go out in the world, produce benefit for me and everyone close to my heart. See, this empowers me to take control of my life, because a lot of these affirmations are you taking control of your life. Yes, those decrees, clearing out all the things that are just important as yeah, basically, yeah, you got to clear out the trash that comes into you from other people, and that's the problem. Even those compassionate, loving people, they come to you and they just give you negativity, and um, that's the problem. Yes, 727. Yes, it's. I'm just going to do a little while because yeah, it's 8:27 to me too, but it's 27 past the hour. So I'm gonna go to maybe 9 o'clock, maybe less if I can't ramble on. But I'm definitely gonna go, and I will be on Robert's show tonight in another hour and a half. We'll talk about mainly P. Hall. Unfortunately, Courtney can't be there. That's unfortunate, but Robert and I can talk about mainly P. Hall. I have my book, um, mainly P. Hall, the secrets of the of teachings of all the ages, in the tiny writing. It's wonderful. Um, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I don't know much about mainly P. Hall. That's the problem. Um, I'm more finding the truth in myself, and that's one of my goals. Is that I believe that all of my truth is in me, and I can use this to help me find my truth. But again, this is only a guidebook for me to find my own truth, which I believe Jesus was trying to do. I don't believe Jesus ever wanted to be a savior. I don't think he wanted a religion. He just wanted to help us find the right path. And that right path is about being kind to others, and making sure that the others are being kind to you. It's a two-way street. Your responsibility is to be kind to others, but also to make sure that they're being kind to you. And if they're not being kind to you, you have every right to say, you stop that. You don't do that. You don't do that to me. And that's also mean, with being kind to yourself is being kind to your tribe, your family and your friends. I mean, I have friends who are closer to me than a lot of family members, and I mean, just you can put that on the side. But yeah, and I have friends who, if I get a call from friends, pick it up right away. And I got calls from some family members, and I'm like, do I want to handle this? Do I want to deal with this? And because sometimes family members, they just come to you and start giving you negativity, and you just can't handle that sometimes. And but with a friend's going to call you, for a fact that they're going to uplift you, while family is going to bring you down, and you have to. It's your job to to make sure that they don't pull you down too much. Um, uh, this one. gratefulness. Being grateful is a huge asset in our life. I am thankful for all that I have and all that I will receive. I appreciate for what I am and what I will become. I am humble when I revel in the wonders of my power. And that is a funny one because, yes, appreciation, gratitude is huge. But why am I humble when I revel in the ones of my power? It's because I am humble because I don't need to brag, because I am so confident and comfortable in my power that I don't need to push around everyone. And some of the people who push their authority are the people who have the most self-doubt. Um, I mean, coworkers, and especially some of my coworkers want to push and be in charge when they don't have the knowledge or the experience or expertise to be in charge. And the funny thing is, when they come with that, sometimes I get offended. But then the voice in my head that's in control says, you don't have to be offended by this because you're already comfortable. Because sometimes when coworkers who want to be in charge and want to take control situations, they start telling you things that make absolutely no sense. But because I know my job, and sometimes I know their job, well, I often know their job, I don't have to worry that that don't make any sense because I just have to know how to ask the right questions and dissuade them. Because I mean, there's been coworkers who come to me and they make these demands and say, "Oh, did you do this, and this?" And I'm like, "What the heck is this person talking about?" But rather than saying, "What the heck are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about," I just look at them and say, "Okay, I'm not quite sure what you mean by this, but from what I understand," and then explain for what I see, and then they can either clear things up or double down on their position. And then I just simply say, that's unfortunate. I don't quite understand what you're talking about, but I will look into it. And, that's the truth. I will look into it. But again, sometimes people do not know what they're talking about, and you can't let that throw you off. You could just simply say, okay, let me look into that, because then you can figure out what they might really mean by that. You don't have to get upset by it because, the person being upset, I mean, you being upset by someone else's ridiculousness doesn't really help anybody. But you saying, okay, I'm going to look into this and basically just try to dissuade the situation and try to spread it out and try to figure it out later when you're more relaxed makes things better. Because coworkers, I mean, personally, I think some of my coworkers are the best people or the worst people, depending on the situation. In me, I handle stressful situations better than I handle no stressful situations. So if someone comes to me and says, "Oh, did you do this, this, and this?" and they make it, a priority, I'm like, "Wait a second, this isn't a priority to me. Why not?" And then I turn into a stressful situation that shouldn't be, and then I just ask the right questions and go from there. But sometimes when you get offended or upset, you got to stop yourself and go, okay, am I offended because this person doesn't make any sense? Or am I offended because I don't feel in control of the situation? Or most likely both. Because I love being in control of situations. And I like helping other people. I like so if someone comes to me with a problem that they want me to resolve from the past, which happens so often, that oh, did you fix this? And to me, I have no idea what you're talking about. And then I get offended because I figure I forgot something or I dropped the ball when really I just wasn't given all the information. And more than often than not, I already fixed it anyways and didn't realize it was a huge problem because I just fixed it in the time that was required. And they asked the wrong question and I don't understand what they're talking about. And after having a nice, pleasant conversation, I realized, oh, it doesn't matter because I fixed it anyways. Yes, that's the truth. Most of us are mostly in comfort when we're in control, because what other people do, it's out of our control. But in our own lives, we can control and manipulate things and put them in the right order and be it calm and at peace. And I think a lot of the people, especially management, don't really know what they're doing. And sometimes with my direct management, they come to me with stuff and I have not a clue what they want. And I have written back to them and says, I do not know what you're asking. Could you clarify? And the truth is, they can't clarify because they don't know what they're talking about. And I have to say, I will fix this, but I need to know more information. Can you tell me who to talk to? And usually it means someone else has asked them to do something that they can't do. So they pass it on to me. So I need to go to that person, the source of the problem or the source of the issue. And normally, once I talk to this person, they're at peace because they realize that I can, a lot of the people are the other shifts. I work in a 3-shift program that I work night shift. And I talk to the day shift, talk to the second shift. And normally when I talk to them, um, I get things resolved. And honestly, one of my biggest problems is a training program where I have written to training and says, your last email makes no sense. But here's the information I have. And they said, well, I explained everything in my email. And I have to say to them, no, you don't. Your communication style is lacking. When I work third shift, I have to explain everything so that I'm not here and it will explain for me. You don't have that option. So if you explain to me something, you've got to make sure you cover your dot your I's and you cross your T's, because what you're doing is crossing your eyes. They don't like that metaphor, but I think it's funny. And I like humor. Humor to me dissuades a lot of the problems. Because the problem with working third shift is training doesn't tend to train during the night shift. Normally they bring the training during the day shift, and I work at night, so I can't train during the day, and their compassionate level for us night shifters is lacking. But I have to be okay with that and say, okay, I will train on this, but I do need the night off. And they don't, management doesn't like that. So usually they push training program and says, hey, you've got to figure something out better because we can't afford to lose him at night. That's the problem with the life I live. It's tough being a critical part of your place. Hello, Seeker Truth. I have been trying to get this to come up for 27 minutes. I'm not doing. Yeah, it's fine. It could be the connection. It could be your internet. Yeah, the night shift is probably the worst shift, where we're tended to get blamed for a lot of things because I'm an independent department. I am the one person in my department, but I help the other departments. I help 3 other departments, and they tend to get the blame, and I tend to defend them tooth and nail, saying that no, just because they found the problem doesn't mean they caused the problem, and here's where the problem starts. So, but unfortunately, the third shift, we tend to explain what the problem is, and we tend to be responsible for it somehow. And I don't know how that works, but so I explained to them that why what looks like it's a third shift problem is really a first shift problem, and then I don't want to throw anyone in the bus by saying, okay, here's how we can resolve it in a much more efficient way. I think also because the third shift gets an extra pay differential, the other shifts tend to resent us. But then when the management says, well, do you want to work that night shift? Of course they don't want to work the night shift. No one in their right mind wants to work nights. I'm just happy to be a vampire where I can sleep during the day. Here's one. Oh, this is a good one. Why? Oh, it's the wrong one. Okay. I like this. No weapon of any kind shall harm me, nor will it prosper. I walk in peace and I walk in prosperity. I am living in my most optimal timeline with the smoothest transition to a completely perfect, prosperous, relaxed, healthy, peaceful life. I'm living in my most optimal timeline with the most positive impact for me. I'm living in the most beneficial timeline with the most beneficial impact for me. So when you're saying that no weapon of any kind shall harm me and I will always prosper from it, you're also saying that I am in control of my life and I am prospering. And I mean, that's that's the most important thing, is that you have to understand that you are powerful enough to control your life. You can put out in the universe the energies you want, but you have to trust that you can do that. And a lot of the prayers come because we don't have enough self confidence. We don't have enough belief in our own power. So we have to put an assignment to an angel or God. Or some people, but they're asked for help from demons. I would never do that. But if people need to call to someone to help them, and they want to punish someone, I don't know. These are tough things, but I don't judge anyone else's spiritual path. If someone else wants to work with demons, it's their priority. It's their life to choose. I can only say I don't recommend you do that, but I need to tell them that, I can't tell them not to work with demons unless they're ready to hear it. That's another thing. Is a lot of times when advice we come, even if it's the best, most perfect, most humble, most beautiful advice you could give to somebody, if they're not ready to receive it, it's criticism. That's the problem. And we have to be comfortable enough to understand that even if you have the most perfect advice to give to somebody, if it's not the time to give it to them, we have to remain quiet until they're ready. We are always open. We can leave the door open to them and saying, hey, if you need help with this situation, I might have an affirmation. I might have energy. I might be able to teach you how to take control of your energy, or what the right option can use is. But until they're ready to know the right option, you just got to let them do their thing. Um, and that's a tough thing when you see someone floundering and someone suffering. When you have the answer, but they're not ready to receive it, it becomes criticism. And even though you're doing prayerful, you're thinking from a purely beneficial, positive way. But no matter what you do, you have a positive thing to bring to them, and they can't accept it right now. It becomes criticism. But again, it's all in our power. Oh no, there is no reason to cause harm to others, because if you cause harm to others, it's going to come back at you. Courtney says it's 3 times, but from the people I've talked to, it's 7 times. Normally, any negativity you put out there, it's going to come back to you in 7 different ways. Um, I mean, one of my road rage things, how I resolve my road rage situations, because I am an angry individual sometimes, and I'm trying to control that. But I say, what is it? Oh, may you get everything you deserve, which is a curse. It's a blessing. A good, kind person, will they get everything they deserve? Excellent. That's wonderful. But a bad person, a negative person, you get everything you deserve. Unfortunately, that means punishment for them. And am I assigning curses on other people? So I needed to modify that. So I needed to find a way. May you find your peace and prosperity in your life. And rather than saying, may you get what you deserve, help, pray for them to find the thing that will give them joy. Let them have the thing to calm them down, to find peace. And that, for that, if I assign peace to a negative person, will that bring peace to me? Well, I hope so. But again, I don't. Ooh, that's another thing. The most powerful positive energies you can give is when you expect nothing in return. So, and that's kind of a funny thing, because he said, well, if I'm expecting nothing in return, but I know that it'll give me more positivity, now I'm expecting something in return, because I'm expecting something in return. I'm sending positive. It gets into your mind. So that's when you just relax and release and you let it go. That you say, May you find peace and prosperity in your life. Let it go without, not even thinking about it. Forget about it. Um, that's that's one of my favorite things. Is yeah, a person who remembers everything, and you say forget about it. I can't possibly do that. And I was thinking about talking to. I was my Father's Day. Is also my father's birthday. He demanded from his brothers and sisters, and my sister, because I live so far away, they kind of keep me out of the loop half the time. And I heard about it. So that he wanted an 80th birthday. He demanded to have an 80th birthday party, and that was it. And so what happened was I went there, and they, oh, you came. I'm like, yeah, I heard about it, so I'm here. Wonderful. I'm 100% good. And I was talking to my aunts and uncles, and I remember childhood. I remember being a baby at a not a baby. It was a toddler. I was a toddler at a baby shower for one of my cousins, and we broke it down, and it turned out to be my cousin who is like 3 years older than you, 3 years younger than me. I'm 3 years older than my cousin. So I was at least two and a half from this memory. And where am I going with this? Oh, sometimes if you're comfortable with your spirituality, you'll start sharing with yourself your childhood, things that you hid. Because I had a good child, I had a terrible childhood. I grew up on a farm, so part of growing up on a farm is having animals that you consider to be pets that end up on the dinner table, and that was traumatizing to me. There was a big section of my life that I never eat chicken or turkey, um, because um, on the farm we had chickens and they had eggs, and the chickens were very, very friendly to the point of, as a child, I would go and feed them, and I could feed them by hand, and they were polite. My cousins had chickens that would chase them down and jump in the buckets and be rude and everything. But the chickens we had were polite and friendly and just would. We had a rooster that would actually move to the house, would come to the house and wait outside the house, and you carry him back to the to the where the chicken coop is, because he was a big rooster who could fly, which was another issue. Having flying chickens is a weird thing, but he was also, for a rooster, he was the most docile. He was a big rooster, very docile. So unfortunately, having more than one rooster is a problem because roosters are noisy. So they chose the more aggressive rooster because, again, he would probably be the one to protect the flock. And they got rid of the one who was more peaceful. And that's pretty much when I gave up eating chicken for about 25 years of my life. Um, but again, these are the things I remember being a child, and some of the things. And I remember for so much in my life that I never eat chicken or turkey, and used to really annoy my family. I was a very vegetarian for a while, and there was a 5 year stint where I was vegetarian, and no one knew it because I just ate what I could and made no point of it, and didn't say, "Oh, I'm a vegetarian, I can't eat this." I would just talk and have a conversation, and no one paid attention until one of my cousins looked at me and said, "Are you a vegetarian?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've been vegetarian for 5 years." And she said, no one knows that. I'm like, "Yeah, it doesn't matter. I can eat the vegetables and everything. And if they cook the vegetables with fat or anything, it doesn't matter. I mean, I do the best I can, but I'm not a vegetarian to lecture to anyone. I was a vegetarian just because I chose it. I mean, I didn't like, uh, you know, animal suffering. But sometimes I do eat hamburgers and hot dogs if I'm at a family get together, because I do not want to put anyone out. I do not want to make anyone upset. So I am basically, I eat what I feel like without making a scene. How's that? So I will go to a family get together and eat meat a little at a time, not to make a spectacle. Um, but again, it's my choice. And then, of course, was given lectures by a vegetarian that, oh, you've got to, they would just go on and on about how important it is to be a vegetarian, and by not being a vegetarian, by being a vegetarian and not announcing it, you're responsible for animal suffering. And I'm like, no, I'm choosing what I eat and allow others to choose their path, and that's something that a lot of people don't want to understand, especially with religion. Everyone wants to convert everyone else. Everyone wants to proselytize. Everyone wants to convert others. But Jesus was not about conversion. Jesus was about stating the truth that you are God, that you are spirit, that you are Christ consciousness. Jesus wanted you to teach you to be like him. He didn't want you to become and to worship and to be saved by him. He wanted you to follow his path. He was walking a path because he didn't want you to be executed and on the cross. He wanted to just do the right thing and be kind to others. And, my favorite is the story of the Good Samaritan. The Samaritans were a Jewish sect that were hated because they were seen as backwards, they were seen as inferior, and they were disliked. But Jesus was telling them that even though you consider this person subpar, he was the one who did the right thing. Even though he's treated like garbage by the other sects, he went out of his way to protect, to save, to heal somebody, to take him to the doctor, to put his wounds up, while all the others who were in their religion and highest point of the religion, they just walked by and ignored them. So he's teaching that sometimes you have to love everyone and not judge them. And Jesus was it was totally about not judging. And that's the problem with religion. The dogma in religion is all against Christianity. It doesn't worship Christ. It's not about Christ at all. It's about choosing how much better you are than other people. But Christ would be against that. If Christ came down right now, he would probably be against our religions. He would just say, he'd probably be a Buddhist, but not a Buddhist as in the, Middle East or the Eastern, follow all the dogmas and stuff. He was about doing the right thing, the middle path, being kind, doing the right thing. My wife is Buddhist, and I had to explain to her that some of her dogmas in her having to follow all these rules and everything was against everything Buddha believed in. Buddha wasn't about rules. He was about finding the middle path, doing the right thing, not taking everything away from you, not indulging on the level, being the middle path, because the middle path is a great place to be. Was one of them was that I did some ceremony and my wife turned to me and says, "You can't drink alcohol for a week, and because you did the Buddhist thing." And I'm like, but Buddha was never about taking everything away from you. He was about moderation. So Buddha would be okay about eating, drinking alcohol as long as you did it sensibly. Because back then, you had to drink alcohol because the water, a lot of times the water was contaminated and the alcohol itself was sterile. It was more sterile. So you had to drink low tolerant alcohol, like low concentration, low percentage of alcohol. Another thing is that if a person puts meat, cow meat, pig meat, chicken, into a Buddhist monk's bowl, their responsibility is to eat it. Normally, a Buddhist monk would be vegetarian, but by wasting the food, saying, "I'm not going to eat this," is actually sinful, because this perfectly good piece of meat is going to go to waste, and that's you going against the animal's life. And those kind of teachings that Buddha taught is hard to follow, because again, a Buddhist monk is supposed to be a vegetarian, but if it's put in his alms bowl, his requirement is to take it even though he is a vegetarian, and his requirement is not to go out, because if food is offered to him on the table and he can put food in his bowl, he will avoid the meat. But if someone puts alms in his bowl, he's required to eat it. And it's convoluted, and I think I'm going off on a tangent, but it's my show, right? Poor Courtney isn't here right now. So let's just end this with something positive. Where's the okay? I'm just going to go off the top of my head. If you've watched this so far, everyone who's watched this, may you have 59 doses of happiness in your life. And may people who choose not to be happy or cannot be happy stay far away from you, but you have so much happiness around you that even those sad people who can't be happy, your happiness will spread to them and everyone around you. So every 59 doses of happiness that you have will automatically spread with 59 doses of those people, and those people will have 59 doses to spread to others. So happiness will spread. And that's the most important thing. So it is done, it is done, it is done. Happiness will come into your life. Happiness will come into my life. I'm at peace. You're at peace. We're all joyful. So go out in the world and just spread your love and joy. And don't worry about the negativity in the world, because the negativity is always going to be there. And you can accept it and just look at it and go, yeah, you can have your negativity and not absorb it. You go. And you can always like this video. You can always hate this video. You can always comment. Just don't be mean to the other commenters. You can be mean to me because I'm okay with it, because I'm at peace with who I am. And you can be at peace with who you are. Have a good night, everyone. Another hour and 3 minutes, I'm going to be with Robert. I got to get ready for that. Maybe change, eat something, be at peace. My spider's looking at me. Okay. Have a good night, everybody.